Hey everyone. Haven't really had any videos lately. I've been out actually enjoying using this thing, so honestly completely forgot to make some videos. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually waiting on my computer to reboot. But I was checking on the status of all of the health records of the two batteries and the inverter. They data log their faults. They don't have any like real history built in for anything else, but they do data log their faults, so you can go in and see what the faults were and what triggered them for a little bit. But so that's something that I believe is important is preventative maintenance. So checking on these things that I haven't even noticed any actual faults in the operation because of having two packs. I don't ever see if one goes into overcurrent protection or over voltage protection because the other one will sort of ignore it or null out the fault. So far, everything's been going great. I did have 3 overvolt protection faults on this in the whole year, or since, what is that, March, when I installed these, so a full season of camping, we can say. And this one had 1. So I believe what those came from was at one point I did raise the charge parameter on this because we were worried about running out of power a little bit. So I did raise it, realized that it didn't really help anything. So I lowered it back down, but I'm thinking during that time is when it may have triggered the overvolt protection on those. But overall, we've had no issues with this, no issues with these. The one thing to note is if you're connecting on RS485, you cannot get into the settings of the excuse me, of these to see what the settings are. You can get into the data logging and the information about them running, but you can't get into the settings. You do have to use RS232 and connect to each pack individually to do that configuration. So on a last note with the packs, is I did notice also that if you're connecting from the inverter or from what I use now is a solar assistant on an Orange Pi, you do have to connect the RS485 to the bottom 2 ports over here. If you connect to the RS485 port here, that won't actually communicate. I'm not sure about why yet. I was going to play around with it, but it's not too important because I can connect in there, connect the next pack across to the other side, and that makes it to where the solar assistant can now see both packs. So, and I'll have another video on solar assistant because that has been, I guess, the coined phrase of today's society is a game changer. But it definitely helps out, especially if you're a data nerd and like to really see what's going on with your system. Once my computer gets done with its wonderful Windows updates that it took over, I'll have a video on what Solar Assistant looks like, what it can do, and what it gives you. So, that's about it for today. Make sure to check on the health and check on your systems. Check on cables, connectors, things like that. I mean, if you're in an RV, this thing's going down the road. So, double check. Spend 15 minutes 2-3 times a year to walk through. Make sure you don't have some 48 volt cable that came unclipped and is dangling down here. You don't want that. If you do have bolt systems, make sure the bolts are torque spec'd correctly using a isolated screwdriver or properly safing your equipment. So, check your systems, make sure everything's staying healthy, and enjoy solar.